First question I've got for you is, can you go anywhere these days without anybody asking you to do a trick?
I don't think I can really, but technically that's my dreams come true because I spent so many years trying to get people to want to watch my magic. So now to go in to literally, when I leave a house, people want to see what I do. That's like the kind of all my dreams come true really.
And do you have a trick that you sort of have prepared all the time, so when someone says, oh yeah, go on, yeah.
I'm always improvising, so I like to think that I can do magic anywhere, anytime, and just kind of, on the spot. So I like to challenge myself as well, So yeah, I think it's good to be put on the spot.
Okay.
Test my skills a little bit,
Okay, cool. And has your magic ever got you in trouble, or do you ever get banned from casinos or clubs or anywhere? Or
I'm banned from quite a few casinos, although I've been banned for a long time, so I never really got to show off my magical skills in the casinos or utilise the possible scamming techniques that I might have known.
Okay. Have you ever been in there and then they've said, hang on a minute, we know this guy?
I did, there was a couple of events at some casinos and I got invited to the events, but I was told specifically that I'm not allowed to gamble.
Right.
I'm not allowed to go near any of the gambling tables. So,
Just because they're aware that you're going to clean them out or whatever?
Yeah. I'm a nice guy from Bradford, I mean, come on, what's the worst that could happen?
Okay. Have you ever done a trick on when you've been filming or on stage or anywhere where it's just gone completely wrong and you're like, oh no, I can't get this back?
Not really, because with my performances, because I improvise so much, in my head I might be trying to achieve one thing and it might not quite go to plan, but I twist it and make it into something else which is still magical,
yeah.
But it's not what I initially intended. But the audience are none the wiser because they don't know what was coming in the first place.
Yeah, okay. And are people like, online, a lot of people try and guess your techniques and how you do these things and try and reveal, if you like, what your secrets are. Do you read that sort of stuff and does that bother you?
Sometimes I get a lot of tweets about stuff like that. So I read as many of the tweets as possible and I reply to a lot of these people. Like, it's funny when people say, I know how you did it. I tweet back, so do I. Like, it's just, yeah, I kind of, I think there's two sides to magic. There's people who love just watching it and being fascinated by it.
Yeah.
And there's people who love to try and work it out. And I think both schools of thought are great. And at the end of the day, if either way you're talking about the magic and it's keeping the magic alive.
Okay.
So, the people who have speculation give me or inspire me to kind of want to keep creating new magic to kind of keep them on their toes.
Okay. And has anyone ever come up to you and done a trick for you and impressed you with, like, and you've gone, how have you done that?
Yeah, a few people. I've been impressed by, there's a young kid called Daniel Rhodes, I think his name is. Dan the Magic Man. Okay. He's from Manchester, he's about 10 years old, I believe. And he sent me a YouTube clip of him doing some of his magic. And I was watching some of it, I was like, oh, that's all right, that's all right. And then he did this thing at the end, I was like, whoa! Like, I think it took everyone in my office by surprise. And he in the beginning of his video, it's so hilarious though, like in a thick Yorkshire accent, like even thicker than mine, he was like, I'm Dan the Magic Man, and I like magic, and I was inspired by Dynamo, and I'm going to show you some of my magic, like Dynamo, but 10 times better.
Right.
And yeah, it was like, the thing he did at the end was amazing. So search on YouTube for Dan the Magic Man. He's a little youngster, but he's got so much character and charisma, and I think he's going to go far.
All right, we'll look out for him. What goes on in the magic circle? Because you're in there now, aren't you? So can you tell us what goes on in that club?
First rule of Magic Circle: don't talk about Magic Circle.
Okay, that's it? You can't.
It's like Fight Club.
Right. Okay. So you can't tell us if there was like an initiation?
I told you I'd have to kill you. And I like you. I only just met you, but I like you, so I want to make you disappear, yeah.
Okay, all right. If there was one celebrity you could make disappear, who would that be and why?
I like most people, so I don't know if I'd make them disappear for long, but maybe, like, if I made Simon Cowell disappear for a little bit, yeah, so that magicians would have an easier time on Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Because he don't really like magic that much, apparently. He's always a bit tougher on the magicians. So if he disappears for like one season, yeah, and we have someone like me as a judge maybe, then magic might get, you know, better odds. Did you
ever think of going on any of those shows before you made it? Was it around?
It wasn't around when I was making my own shows. It kind of came just after the first series, but you know, I mean, before my TV show started, I'm still hungry now, you know, for magic. I love it with a passion, so I was always trying to find different ways and outlets to get my stuff out there. You know, but luckily I had YouTube, and I kind of jumped on that early and got my stuff out on YouTube, and that got seen by the TV people, and then, you know, Magician Impossible was born, and now we're on Series 3, and DVD's coming out 4th of November.
Okay. And now you're a Bradford City fan, is that right? Is there any trick you could do to get those guys back in the Premier League, because they're not?
I don't think they need me to do a trick. They're doing pretty good themselves.
Are they? Whereabouts are they in the leagues, aren't they?
They're in First Division, but I know they've had a really good start to this season. I think, you know, they're definitely keeping up there. You know, I don't want to jinx it, but you know, I reckon they could get up to the Premier League next season.
Okay. Do you ever get along to the games and any of that? Do you ever go?
I went to the games in Wembley. You know, but got us up there. That was exciting times last season. So yeah, I think, you know, I don't get to go to Bradford that often anymore because I'm literally on the road so much, like performing everywhere. But when I get back to Bradford, if there's a game on, then I'm definitely down there.
Okay.
When there was selling tickets for the game, sometimes I go down and do magic to the queues.
Oh right.
Yeah, because of people like get up at like 5 in the morning to get in line to get the tickets and to pick up the season tickets and all that stuff.
Is there a queue for Bradford tickets?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Okay.
A bit of a big queue. Yeah, Bradford, we got some strong supporters.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm a Palace fan, so we don't.
Is there a queue for Palace?
No, not normally.
Oh.
Since we got promoted, there's been a few more fans, but.
Yeah, well, we don't need glory supporters. We need supporters from the beginning.
Exactly right.
But every little helps, right?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, do you still? I've got that. Do you still have beef with Chris Angel? But how are things with you and him?
I don't have beef with anybody. I've seen some of his stuff. He's really, really good at what he does. You know, he said a few nasty things aimed towards me.
Yeah.
But you know, sticks and stones. I just keep doing what I do. He can do what he does, and you know.
Have you ever met him, or?
I've never met him, no.
So he's not in the magic circle then?
I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a great magician. He's not very great with words from what I heard he said to me, but you know, that's how he does his thing.
Okay. And where in the world do you get the best reaction from crowds? So is there, I don't know, are the Japanese more easily impressed than the Germans?
I've not been to that part of the world yet. I'd love to go out to Japan and, you know, perform for some Japanese people. And yeah, I think it would be awesome to be out there. Like, I love the culture, you know, I love the clothing. So I definitely want to get out there at some point in the future. I find, you know, like New York was one of my favourites for the reactions. We had New York was the first episode of season 3. And the people out there were amazing. And what was interesting about New York is that when we was there, we got caught up in Hurricane Sandy.
Oh, right.
Which was, you know, quite a very scary time for myself, but also for, you know, so many people's lives were ruined whilst they were out there. So, you know, it was horrible. So to survive that and still make the show, and still the people in New York after it had happened, like 4 days after, we were out there filming again, and amidst all the adversity, they still have the energy, and they still, you know, were up for watching magic. And you know, and I just think the people in New York really came together in that harsh time, and they're the real magicians. They're the ones who really brought the magic to that episode. So New York's always going to be one of my favourites.
Okay, cool. And now you seem to be permanently trending on Twitter in some part of the world.
Yeah, it's
crazy. How do you do that? Is that a trick, or?
It's magic to me. I don't know. Like, you know, I'm just very fortunate that people like what I do and they like to talk about it, and hopefully it'll continue.
Okay. Has it surprised you yourself, even the success
like,
you've had?
What was when this series came out, before the show had even gone onto TV, like we're talking like a good hour and a half before it started, it was trending #1 and #2, I think, worldwide, which was, you know, that's mental. Like, you know, it wasn't even on TV, and people talk about it. So, yeah, I think, you know, the internet is such a powerful tool, and I'm so glad that I kind of got on there early, you know, quite early, in some respects. And, you know, I think that my Twitter followers, I really were like a family. You know, I grew up not necessarily with the greatest kind of family life surrounding me at all times. You know, I didn't have many friends when I was younger, and that's why I stayed locked in my room practicing magic tricks to myself. But as I've got older, you know, I've kind of built up this kind of network of friends and family. But, you know, no matter where I'm in the world now, no matter what time it is, if I need to talk to someone, if I'm lonely, if I'm bored or whatever, you know, I can just tweet someone and say, well, hey, what's up? You know, and I'll get loads of responses, and, you know. Yeah. So we're in this together. Cool. The Dynamites, that's what they're called. That's my Twitter followers, yeah. They called themselves Dynamites. So.
Oh, they called themselves it, did they? You didn't label them that?
Yeah, I remember there was a big argument over some super Dino fans saying we want it to be Dino Fam, and then someone saying we want it to be Dynamites, but then the majority vote was Dynamites. So
I think that sounds better than Dino Fam, don't you?
They're cool. They're all family though. Like, I'm just really like thankful for the support.
Okay. And the final question is, you've obviously performed for a lot of famous people and celebrities. Is there anyone you haven't met that you'd like to impress with your magic?
I'd definitely like to meet Eminem at some point in the future. I don't even care if I do magic for him, I just think he's a genius, and I'd actually like to sit down and talk to him about superheroes and comic books, because he's a big comic book collector. Right, and I'm a massive superhero fan, and I get a lot of my inspiration from superhero abilities and try and recreate them and put them into, you know, do them in my own special way. So Eminem would be interesting, and just to kind of delve into his mind and, you know, see how his mind works, because he's a very complex guy. Yeah. And, you know, I'm a big fan of his work.
Who's your favourite superhero? Because we're Toxic, we're a big fan of superheroes.
Iron Man, who's technically not real superhero, he's a suit, but he's a genius, and Tony Stark's just really cool.